Hey guys, it is Sunday night, and that means it's time for another episode of the M Cluster. I am Slider, your host, and tonight with me, as usual, is Brandon,
Hey guys.
and we've got Dante in the background,
Hey,
and we have a new addition to the troupe, possibly. We have backup Dante. He's not going to speak. He's just backup Dante. If Dante wasn't here, he'd say something, but now he's just, you know, there.
you'll have to trust us on that.
Yeah, you have to trust us. So tonight we're talking about Zombieland. But before we launch into that, I wanted to bring up a bit of movie news that I've been hearing. It had been a rumor up until now, but apparently Nathan Fillion is going to be making an appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy. The rumor I heard was that he was going to be Nova, but then I saw that somebody had debunked that he was going to be. James Gunn debunked that he was going to be Nova. But then today, James Gunn confirmed he would be in the movie as a cameo, as a fun cameo. So we just don't know who he's going to be, but he is going to be somewhere in some movie. And,
Not some
he
movie,
confirmed.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
What's that?
I said not some movie, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Maybe. We'll see. But tonight, we are talking zombies, and that is Brandon's movie. So Brandon, take it away.
Zombieland is an extremely fun movie, at least for me. What it's about is there's four people who basically survive the zombie apocalypse, and they get together, but it's not really about the zombies, even though there's a lot of them. It's mostly about these characters, and it's more of a comedy than a serious, gory movie, even though there's plenty of gore as well. It stars Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin. I think this is probably the first movie I ever saw Abigail Breslin in, at least that I'm aware of. So the other three, though, I think everyone has at least heard of, especially Woody Harrelson. He's probably the big name in here. It starts off with just Jesse Eisenberg, and he's alone, and he has rules to survival, such as double tap, you know, beware of bathrooms, and he ends up meeting Woody Harrelson first, and Woody Harrelson is really gung-ho for killing zombies, and is always on the lookout for Twinkies. I really enjoyed the movie. I liked the comedy. Even the bits of gore, it wasn't overly serious, but I think they did a good job with the effects that were in the movie. What did you think?
I thought we weren't talking about Twinkies, is what I think. Twinkies were not supposed to be mentioned. I'm a little pissed off about this whole Twinkie situation now.
I didn't know you said that. I was barely awake. Leave me alone.
Son of a bitch. So, shut up and play the movie clip.
Oh, okay.
So this is a flag waving. Apparently there's no audio. I'm going to have to narrate. So, this is a car on fire, and that's a zombie, because we're in the United States of Zombieland. And the world's kind of fucked up, as you can see there by the fucked up world. And, see, one of the first people to go after the virus hit were the fatties. And so rule number one is cardio. Because look at the fat guy run. Poor fat bastard. Which I think is what the line is. Rule number two is double tap, as you mentioned previously. Because now she's about to become like a Happy Meal. Rule number three got cut out of the clip by accident. But that's
Beware of bathrooms.
beware of bathrooms. And
What's rule number 4?
you'll find out. Rule number 4 is always check your volume before you play a video. It's always wear your seatbelt.
I actually have a list of all 32 Zombieland rules.
Well, let's hear them.
All right, so rule number 4 was, seatbelts. Rule number 5 is no attachments. Rule number 6 is the skillet. Rule number 7 is travel light. Rule number 8, get a kick-ass partner. Rule number 9, with bare hands. Rule number 10, don't swing low. 11, use your foot. 12, bounty paper towels. 13, shake it off. 14, always carry a change of underwear. 15, bowling ball. 16, opportunity knocks. 17, don't be a hero. That does get brought up in the movie. 18, limber up. 19, break it up. 20, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Unless it's a sprint, then sprint. 21, avoid strip clubs. 22, when in doubt, know your way out. 23, ziplock. 24, use your thumbs. 25, shoot first. 26, a little sunscreen never hurt anybody. 27, incoming. 28, double knot your shoes. 29, the buddy system. 30, pack your stain stick. 31, check the back seat. 32, enjoy the little things.
Very good. Bravo. Bravo.
I had really hoped you had memorized it, but it didn't look like that.
Yeah, it sounded like you were reading.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was reading it. I'm not going to memorize all 32 rules.
Whatever, it's fine. I love this movie. I think this movie is really fun to watch. It's certainly not what you're expecting when you go into it. And the cast is just incredible. Woody Harrelson steals this movie. And while he may have been the big name at the time, I would say Jesse Eisenberg is probably the bigger name now, especially now he's going to be Lex Luthor. But
Woody Harrelson also, he's Haymitch in Wow.
In WoW?
No, not WoW.
WoW?
Why the hell can I remember the name of the stupid series?
I don't know. Why the hell can't you?
Hunger Games.
Money Train?
Hunger Games.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yes.
So
he was Spike Stubble.
This is like such a good movie on so many layers. It's a coming-of-age story wrapped in a road trip movie, wrapped in a romantic comedy, wrapped into a post-apocalyptic zombie movie. It's really good, just in a lot of different ways. It's really, really, really well written. And Jesse Eisenberg as a narrator is really impressive. Some of the cadence in his voice and the way he speaks and the way he says things makes things very interesting. I'd actually be interested to find out if he's done any audiobooks. Because he's got a very good speaking voice.
Remember that from the Facebook movie.
I did not like the Facebook movie, but that's a different topic.
I have not seen the Facebook movie.
What's that?
I have not seen that Facebook movie yet.
You're not missing it. So, although all film is subjective, as John Campea likes to say. We see these list of characters, and they're all very different people. Even the sisters are very different. One of them is very kind of like young and naive, while the other one is really conniving
and a bitch at first. She is such a bitch at first.
So here's the great thing. When he's describing her, he actually says, she's not a stuck-up bitch like the rest of these girls. And then he proceeds to tell a story about how she uses her ass to steal $400 from this guy at a gas station.
She's not a stuck-up bitch. She's just
a bitch. But each of these people have their own personality quirks. Jesse Eisenberg is he's Columbus, which is kind of a device that they use in this movie. They don't actually use names. So they go by where they're from, which I would really like it. What's that?
Except at the end where Wichita does tell her real name.
But do you remember the real name?
Yep.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. No, I guess we'll talk about that now.
Shouldn't have asked me.
I didn't ask you. I just asked you if you'd remember. I didn't ask you what it was. You shouldn't talk with your mouth full. So there's.
I blame you.
I don't even know what the fuck I was gonna say anymore.
It's a device they use.
Their where they are from is their names. which makes me want to know why the sisters are from different places. I suppose, families move around or whatever, but that's still kind of weird, to be unexplained like that. And they each have their own sets of issues, like, personality quirks, trust issues. Clearly, Woody Harrelson's character, Tallahassee, suffers from anger management problems. And, as they go along, they have to do some pretty hard shit. But you come to find out each one of them in their own right they're really good people. And they're just doing what they need to do to survive. And I think that's really at the heart what makes this movie so good. Just listening to the banter between them, the finding out who they are as people, and then seeing the ridiculously torturous things that they need to do.
I have to disagree with him about what makes it so good. I think what makes it so good is Bill Murray.
Bill Murray is barely in this movie. Bill Murray's not a main character.
It was a good scene, though.
It's a classic scene.
Everything he's in is amazing.
But
that prank is awesome. That was great. I love that.
The shitty thing is, all right, so they all have to do these horrible things. How are they not fazed more, though, when he shot Bill Murray in the chest and just watched him die?
So they didn't know that Bill Murray was even alive at first, right? So he shoots Bill Murray, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I got it," and he's fine until he says, Bill Murray says, "Is that how you say hello where you come from?" Then he realizes that he wasn't a zombie, and then he does freak out. What you're getting asked about is afterwards is how they just kind of dump him over the side of the house. They give him a 16-gun salute, and then they go play Monopoly. Yeah, But in a world where everything is as fucked up as it is, and after you go through all that, don't you get desensitized at some point?
Well, I guess yeah, because you're already shooting human bodies at least.
Yeah,
so they're no longer really human.
I believe it was it's like just an acceptance of the reality that they're in.
There's a Halloween episode of The Simpsons where Homer shoots Zombie Ned. Like, Dad, you shot Zombie Ned Flanders. Like, he was a zombie?
One of the things I wanted to look up, I never got around to, was whether or not that was actually Bill Murray's house.
That would be odd if it was. Like, I know he's got to have a big house, but that's a little. It doesn't seem like Bill Murray. Some of the parts with all the chandeliers, and it's too fancy for Bill Murray, I think.
Excuse me.
I don't know. I could see him seeing that as a funny, I could see him having a ridiculous house as a joke.
All right, I could see that.
Yes, I could see Bill Murray doing something like that. But the conversation they have with Bill Murray even is funny. He's like, "I've been watching your films for as long as I've been masturbating." Not that those two things are related. It was, you see Tallahassee just completely fanboy over Bill Murray, and I think that's really cool. It's like,
now the pictures that just came up with Woody Harrelson's character Tallahassee and the puppy, I honestly did not see it coming that he had a son. I even though the puppy was sitting at the table and he was putting syrup over pancakes, I did not really see that was going to end up being his son, not a puppy.
I don't think anybody saw that coming.
And looking back at it, it's like, oh, well, that actually makes sense because he's bathing the puppy in bubble bath. He's got him at the table with pancakes. That's not really that normal, even for crazy people with dogs.
It's not normal, right? But Tallahassee was weird enough that when you initially see it, you just accept it. And then like you said, when you look back, you go, oh, well, now it makes sense that it didn't make sense.
And it also makes sense that he's that fucked up.
Right. And I think that also adds a wonderful layer to what was going on in this movie, because it is this crazy comedy, zombie, pseudo-romantic movie, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, Woody Harrelson's character, Tallahassee, is a real person.
Yeah.
And with real problems, and he's running away from something too. He's not just crazy. And I think it did a really good job of rounding out his character, and showing his human side, and it also made you understand why he was so tolerant of the 12-year-old, of the little sister. Oh crap, Wichita and
Little Rock.
Little Rock, yes. That's probably why they called her Little Rock, because she's little girl. But Little Rock, Arkansas.
Or maybe Wichita was born first and they lived in Kansas, then they moved to Arkansas.
Which is possible, but still, somebody should have brought that up in the movie. if they're going to go with that,
they will in the supposed eventual sequel that's been sitting in IMDb for like 5 years now.
Yeah, if it gets off the ground, I'd be surprised.
They tried making a series out of this.
They tried, or they pitched?
They did a pitch. It was a pilot episode that never got bought up.
Yeah, I did know that. I don't think there's enough to sustain this in as Zombieland the series. I think as far as people go, I think there's stories to be told, about their evolution and running into other people. It basically would have been a funny version of The Walking Dead.
I think this would actually do better. For me, I would be more interested in this kind of show than Walking Dead. Walking Dead, I have zero interest in.
Oh, you just made some enemies.
There's
a lot of people who love this show.
I know, and I've even talked to some people who watch the show, and while they enjoy some of the scenes, they have said that some of the story is just dumb. Doesn't make sense.
I don't know about dumb. It's certainly slow, and I had this issue with Game of Thrones too, where if I hadn't binge watched the first few seasons, I would not have stuck with the show, because it was too slow and it would not have kept my interest. I didn't care enough about the people right off the bat. Having watched
slow I can deal with, but like things like someone brought up the fact that like they just found yet another little village, like again, like 10 miles from where they were, and it's like, how did you not know that? How did you not know they were there?
Because you're completely cut off from society. You don't have any form of communication other than traveling to specific places, kind of like in a video game. But after everything's dark until you explore that area. What are you talking about? After
several years, you think you would have at least gone in a 10-mile radius outside of where you stay.
With fucking people trying to eat you everywhere you go? I don't know. I can see staying in one place pretty good. See, the cat says the same thing.
I'm glad you understand cat.
For the purposes of my argument, I always understand cat.
But the one thing I didn't get in the movie is why Woody Harrelson kept putting a 3 on the truck.
Oh my God! Really?
Was that a reference?
Yes, of course it's a reference. I would expect Dante to know this, but you?
Are you talking about the race car driver?
Yes. Oh. Even Dante knows.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You're like white bread, Palm Bay redneck. You still don't know?
No.
Dale Earnhardt?
Oh. I don't know racing. I don't watch that.
Still, you're. I don't know. You need to hand over your white card or something. Is there a white card?
No, I have a Puerto Rican card. I'm just pale.
It's the race car driver. But so there is something I actually wanted to research this again, just doing other stuff for the show. I never got around to it. There's a line in the movie that makes me think something got cut out. When they meet Bill Murray, he says there are 6 people left in the world. One of them is Bill Murray. There are only 5 characters in this movie.
I did see that.
Who is the 6th person?
I don't know.
I'd be very interested in finding out that.
In the show, there was a person called Detroit.
Oh, okay. Could be interesting. They did also talk about Beverly, the one he supposedly slept with, which was clearly a lie because he saw FedEx packages
Obviously.
on the side of the road. But there's a lot of things in this movie. Actually, I have a problem in the credits, in the credits of this movie, because there are very few actual characters in this movie, right? But there are tons and tons of zombies. Okay, there are easily 500 to 700 zombies in this movie, and in the credits, one person gets a zombie credit. The clown. The clown.
Oh, okay.
The clown gets an end credit, book credit. Nobody else gets credit. There are zombies that were in this movie much longer than he was at the end. And he got credit? Why did he get credit? Like, these are things I want to know. But this is, everyone that sees this movie that hasn't seen it when it came out in theaters back in 2009 is always surprised. This is a really good movie, really well-written movie. The actors do a really good job. The scenes with Bill Murray, fucking hilarious. There's just like, it's hard to really say, to tell people what this movie's about and have it mean something and be accurate.
Was Emma Stone anything before this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been in plenty before this, but
I didn't know who she was when I saw this movie the first time.
A lot of people didn't recognize her.
Let's see, she was in Superbad. She was in. Let's see, what else was she in?
Backup Dante asked me if she was that other actress.
Lindsay Lohan?
Lindsay Lohan, yes.
Actually, Dante, you might be right. Outside of Superbad, this is like the first movie, really. Like before that, she was in like one episode of Malcolm in the Middle, one episode of Medium. Then Zombieland. She had a couple other small parts in a couple movies that no one heard about. The House Bunny, Paperman, what the hell's that? And then she actually got big. Looks like this might have been her big break.
Like her breakout role. Well, what did you say that other one? You said Superbad. So Superbad would have been the one that probably got her. Zombieland.
Well, she was in something called Drive. Oh, she was in Drive. That's right. I didn't realize that was supposed to be a mini-series. I thought that was just
Drive? Oh, yeah, miniseries. So, she was in seven episodes of that.
Yeah. Aside, like you said, aside from Superbad, this is like the first feature. I didn't realize she was so obscure until then.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Because this is only 2009. It's not like this, was a long time ago.
Now, the other girl, Little Rock.
You watch it. I was like, that's Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Like, what if she's gonna die?
Well,
Little Rock looks
there's
like...
a bridge scene.
Little Rock looks like the actress that was in
comics.
What's that other superhero? Well, not really superhero movie.
Big Daddy and Hit Girl.
Yes. She looks like her, but it's not her.
It's not her. But
they're very, very, very close in resemblance to each other.
So moving on with the normal rigmarole we go through, and it's like, who would you replace with Samuel Jackson? Now I want you to think about this one, because there are so few people in this movie.
There's only 5.
Vital to the story. So who would it be? Backup Dante is whispering Little Rock. Whispering because he's afraid his voice is going to get picked up.
Oh no.
We clearly told him that it wouldn't, and we don't give a shit if it does anyway, because this is a talk show. We talk. Just want you to know that.
I don't know, that's a tough one because there are so few people. Any one of them would change it so drastically. Like,
yes.
Which movie would you want to see most?
What?
Like, you're saying it would change the movie so drastically if Samuel Jackson.
I would say, as much as I liked him, I would say Woody Harrelson.
I can't say that. He's too vital to what this movie is.
The only one that's not that vital is Little Rock.
Is Little Rock. right? And I could see
Bill Murray.
swapping out. Bill Murray is Bill Murray. It's like
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, who the hell do you replace?
without Bill Murray in it? It's like, unless it's like Nick Fury as Bill Murray. I mean,
all right. What if you replace Bill Murray with Samuel L. Jackson and they went to Samuel L. Jackson's house?
And you watch
and then
Snakes
you watch
on a Plane.
Snakes on a Plane, yeah. And they reenacted the scene. I don't know. No, that's not blowing up my skirt. I would say the clown, the zombie clown. That is
only in there for a second. That's lame.
Just like the Wolverine in that other movie.
But he's an important part of this film, and it wouldn't change anything in this movie, which is a great movie. I wouldn't want to change anything about this movie. And I think you could squeeze him in as the clown. Oh, but you know what? Would he be in such heavy makeup? Because then you wouldn't really even know it was Samuel Jackson.
You'll know it's Samuel Jackson.
It's like clown, motherfucker! I mean...
Maybe he was. Did anyone but you read the credits?
That's why he got credited.
Well, he was... The guy who played him was Derek Graff.
People, like, actors use fake names all the time.
Well, no, this guy's white.
He was
like,
playing clown makeup.
Sam Jackson was in whiteface. Not cool, Sam Jackson. Not cool. But no, Derek Graff is a stuntman. I mean, he's nobody, really. He's not a really big name in terms of acting that I'm aware of. So I really don't know why he got credit, except for maybe what I just said about him, playing an important part, even though he's only in for a moment.
Did he have words?
No, he growled. And he smiled. Why do zombies smile? Why do zombies smile? Because he's a clown zombie. That's why. Yeah, that is the only character I can see fitting into this movie without changing it, because I think this is a beautiful movie, and I wouldn't want to see it.
What about 406?
406. I didn't even think about 406. That would have been a great one. He comes in, he's like, oh, thank you, and he hugs on Jesse Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg's like, whoa. And then I think Sam Jackson would make an interesting zombie. So you get to see the evolution. He gets to act as a zombie. And by the way, 406, the actress that played her, Amber Heard, did a really good job in being a really freakish zombie. I mean, she did some really good physical acting. Just like the way she was twisting her head and contorting her body. And, at one point, he slams the door on her leg and her ankle breaks, and she just keeps running, dragging her leg behind her. She was a really good actor.
I was trying to see what else she was in. Apparently, she was in a movie called Drive Angry with Nicolas Cage. That sounds terrible.
I remember the commercials for that. Even the commercials look terrible. It's like, is this the best you could come up with for people to try to watch this movie?
Maybe that's why most people haven't heard of it, because I just don't know. And then, okay, so the other thing is, how is this movie like Gladiator?
A lot of human being figures were killed.
And blood.
I'm more with the blood than the human being figures.
Okay,
well, they were actual human beings.
Okay.
Gladiator.
Yeah, that's a lot of humanoids.
One of the things I thought was interesting, so rule number 3, beware of bathrooms. Most movies don't address stuff like that. In a lot of movies, people don't go to the bathroom. It's not something you talk about, right? So this movie touched on little things like that most stories wouldn't even go near. The little interpersonal relationships, like when Tallahassee shows up and they have the face-off, the Mexican standoff, and then Jesse Eisenberg puts his thumb out to say he needs a ride. That's freaking awesome. And it's just the reality that they live in. That's how things work. So I thought that was really well done. Now, one of the issues I did have was I felt like society broke down a little too fast.
The opposite of what Brandon felt about that other movie.
That other movie?
Yeah.
What other movie?
Seeking a Friend for the End of the World.
Hey, he got it. Good job. And he didn't even get help from Backup Dante.
I think with zombie apocalypse, I think that would happen that fast. It would be super fast.
Well, see, here's the issue though. It's like there was nobody on the roads, nobody, like there were no survivors, right? Yet there's power. Everywhere had running water. Like all these things that require people to function. We're still functioning.
That was
gas.
Brandon's problem with the other movie.
Like gas.
Like, why are they still working at the power plant?
But gasoline. Like, how were they getting so much gas? Like why were these gas pumps working everywhere that they went? How did they know that? Like every car they came up on had keys in it. They never had to like hotwire a car or anything. So this had little issues like that. But it really wasn't the point of the movie to deal with those kind of things. So it really wasn't.
I think if they dealt with those things, it would become too serious.
I think you can deal with those things in such a way that they are imperceptible, which means they're well done.
Or you can just make a joke out of it, like, oh, another one with keys.
Or exactly, you make it, super obvious. Here they just chose to ignore it, and then people like me go, hey, well, what about this? But overall, it's a very good movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I really enjoy this type of storytelling, this type of comedy. I really enjoyed the acting. There's damn near nothing wrong with this movie, and that's hard to say about a lot of movies. You have any?
That's why I watch it so often. I watch it probably at least once every couple months.
Cool. Dante?
No.
Backup Dante?
Maybe.
He smirked. So, all right, it is time to pick another movie, which is not going to be next week. Next week we are possibly doing our location show at Famous Faces and Funnies. I need to confirm that because I haven't heard back from anybody.
You heard back from me.
Actually, no, I haven't. Someone said, oh, yeah, I need to give you pictures, and I'm going to do this. I have no idea what you're going to say, what you're going to talk about. We don't have any pictures. We don't have any video.
I said I would give you the pictures. All I have to do is give you pictures. I already have my stuff set up in terms of what I'm going to talk about.
Okay. So we are going to be talking about Superman Through the Ages, regardless of where. But that will be the topic next week. But let's go ahead and get our next movie out of the way. I'm just going to keep out
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's taking a lot of normal.
All right. What do we got there, Brandon?
G51.
G51. Oh, yeah. Have you started putting together your list of movies? Because
getting a bit thin in there.
Well, yeah.
Tell Dante to give me my 5 back.
No. Too late. Those are gone.
I'm gonna have to go through and find the 25 that I sent him. This way I could pick out the 5 that he took out.
Yes, you do.
That's fine. You can do that. And speaking of Dante...
Are you kidding me?
Oh, nice.
The Blind Side.
Yeah.
Dante's last movie from this batch of movies.
I know Backup Dante saw that recently.
Did Backup Dante see that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I heard him.
Backup Dante? What?
I heard him.
Maybe Backup Dante will have something to say about that in 2 weeks. After we figure out what the fuck is wrong with his computer, make sure it doesn't delay his show anymore. But, so that's it. Zombieland. Next week, Superman. Week after that, The Blind Side. I'm Slider. That's Dante. That's Backup Dante. That's that white dude in the square down there somewhere. And that's a wrap.